One of the most useful and time-saving tools for this job has been this combined wood drill and countersink tool, which has meant I don't have to keep switching between the drill and a countersink tool. Really useful. Whilst fixing all the battens, I've been using a G-clamp to hold the pieces together, and that ensures a nice flush finish on the top of the battens where they meet, so that the board is fully supported. This is one of the feet. I fitted these plastic brackets to the bottom of the foot. There was a risk that somebody might accidentally kick the leg away, and then the whole thing could come down. This is only fixed at the top, so I've used these plastic brackets. I bought these on eBay, and they have the advantage that they actually use slots rather than holes for the screws. So if I need to adjust the foot at the bottom to make the leg taller to get the boards horizontal, then I don't need to take this off. I can just undo the screw there and it'll slide up and down as necessary. So this is the completed frame for the lifting section. Obviously the left hand side over there, that part is going to be flush with the rest of the boards. It's just sitting there at the minute because the hinges are going on top and it meets there. There's a slight lip underneath where it'll sit on, and also a similar one this side. And I'm going to put some dowels in there to line it up properly. Next stage is complete, which is the panels, the plywood panels that go on top of the framework. First panel by the door here. Slight boo-boo here, I've cut out too much of the section to go beyond the door, so I'm going to screw another piece and glue that back in there, but looking at the track plan there's nothing important to go on there, so that shouldn't be a problem. And then round we've got a nice flush finish across here from panel 1 to panel 2, which runs down to there, across to panel 3 by the window, and onto the final panel 4 down to here where the bridge is going to be. Now you may have noticed that the plywood panel has an overlap on the batten, which is about, say 10 to 15, maybe 20 mil in places. And there's a good reason for that, which I'll demonstrate with some spare bits. Now the overlap for my plywood panel is about maybe 10 to 15 millimeters, so probably about that much. And the reason is that if it's flush, it's very difficult to get it right. In order to look right, it's going to have to be exactly flush, perfectly flush, which is difficult to do with a natural product like wood because the battens naturally have elements of curve and waviness in them. So even if it was just a couple of millimeters out, you'd see that bit sticking out. That's only like 2-3 mil there. There's enough to notice it. So it has to be perfectly flush to be flawless. But if I overlap it by about a centimetre, if I'm then off by a couple of millimetres, then you can't really notice. So the overlap means it covers any natural discrepancy in the wood, which would stop it being perfectly flush against the edge of the batten. At long last, the boards and everything is now complete, so I'll give you a tour of the room. This is where the bridge section opens up. This is the section where the door is and slides open. What's been on the plan is the east panel there, moving into the north panel. And some Pico track there ready to go. Lots of large flexible track. The east section by the window, and then the south section in here. And there's the lifting section. Most of the time that's going to be down, and I'm just going to bend down and go underneath. 90 centimetres high for the board, just give me enough headroom to get underneath. Got a turnkey to hold up the board so it doesn't fall on anybody's head, with a bit of adhesive sponge behind, just so we get a soft landing for that section. You can also see on here the dowels that I fitted, and also the upper section of a clip. There's a similar arrangement where the other side meets its panel down here. And underneath these clips are in place to make sure that the panels are completely flush, and there's one each side.
Looking underneath, you can see the bottom of the plywood panels and all the battens with the holes drilled ready for the wiring to go on. With regard to the position of the hinges, I did consider putting the hinges down inside where the lifting section meets the main section, as it will be for a door. But I think the problem with that is that in order to fit them in that position, I'd have to take the whole lifting section out, fit the hinges and then put it back, attach it and hope that it all lined up again, these edges lined up properly and the gaps were okay. So what I've done is put the lifting section in, and then with it all correctly aligned and in place, then attach the hinges so that I know that after I've lifted it up and put it back again, then I know it's going to keep returning to exactly the same spot.